Hey, what's up guys? Theo here. In this video we're going to mess around with the newest version of React with Create React app. So let me do this. It's Create React app and we'll just say tester React app. Let this do its thing. I might need to update this. So let me go to the docs. I mainly just want to look at where is context? Hold on. So I can find this. Context. Here we go. React.createContext. Alright, cool. So we'll just cd into that. Once it loads. Basically, I just want to see if we can put together. Okay, so we'll do yarn start and sublime and open this up. Cool. And did we open it up? Oh, it's just a load. It's not wanting to load. Let me open up Sublime again. Okay, cool. Another one open. It's from yesterday. Okay, cool. So, yeah, let's try this out. Okay, so this is our app. I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff right here. Don't really need this. Don't really care about that either. And say testing React context, something like that. And cool. So what you do is you do React.createContext. Okay, so we'll do create context and we'll say const application state, something like this. We'll do create context and store, something like that, I guess. And then let's just log out app state, application state, and let me load this back up here. Object is not a function, create context. React.createContext, default value, consumer. I think it needs to be an object. No, themes.dark, yeah, I think that's why. Let's say create context. Let's say users, right? 1, 2, 3, something like that. Might need 1.4 or 16.4 if this is not working. Object is not a function. Oh, sorry, create context. Cool. Alright, is that working? Testing, right? Create context. Cool, let's open up our console. Here's our application state. Provides us with a consumer and a provider, current value. Cool, so all I want to do is just share, just basically pass it down to one component and sort of see if I can get this to work. So we'll just create a user.jsx component, and then this will export default, take in some props. Let's just take in props, right? And we'll just give it a div. I am a user, right? And then here in app we can import user from user.jsx, whatever. Or just because I don't know if it's configured, let me just change this to user. Cool. And then we will do let's do this, right? Do 123.app IB is user, something like this for now, just to sort of see it in action. Right, no scope. Oh, sorry. We go back up here and we need to grab React real quick. Import React from React. Cool. Alright. Make sure that's good to go. And it's pointing about the key, so we'll give it a key real quick. But that's not really what I want to show, so just say key equals, it'll be the index, right? So we can wrap this. Alright, cool. There we go, cool. So we have that indeed showing up. If we connect to React right away at the app, and we have the unknown key. Export default. And maybe we'll just give it a name actually. So we'll just change this to user, and then user.displayName equals user, and then we'll export default user, something like that. And I think that should be it. Cool. Let's make sure this works. There we go. And if we change this, should this update this real quick? Alright, cool. That's pretty much all I wanted to do. We can maybe change this so we can log out the props real quick. Throw in a return right there. Clean this up a little bit. And we'll just log out the props that were being set. Props. And then go back to here. I need to get a new computer. Anyways, so that gives us our application state. And then where we want to use this is we'll have a consumer and a provider. So let's see, render provider, and let's see, updating set state, context provider, and then so let me see. Let's look. Provider, and then so let me just grab off the provider from this. Say provider and consumer equals, and I'm just going to change this out to be real quick something like this. And I'll just give it the name of Theo, age 24. And we'll just add on 3 users. James, 25, and Rick is 26, right? So that's our initial state right there. That's our context right there. And cool. Now I will grab this. I will change this to, I want to wrap, I want to do the provider, and then put this in here, 1, 2, 3 map. And provider value is this .state.theme app context of provider. So we needed to take in an initial value, right? So all consumers that are descendants of provider will re-render when the value prop changes. So React component describes consumer. Alright, so when React renders a context, consumer will read the current context. Default value argument is only used by the consumer. So let's see what it's using for value there. Import theme context. Create context. So theme context not consumer. And let's see, theme context. Theme button, where's theme button? So provider, and then so it looks like they're actually separate. So this will be the provider right here, and give it a value, right, of, let's say state right here. Let's put this in the constructor, props, super props, this dot state, and we'll do what they did. We'll say theme is red, something like that. Value is const theme equals this dot state. We'll just say theme, something like that. And then theme button inside the theme provider, right? Theme, the themed button inside the theme provider uses the theme state, while the one outside uses the default dark theme. Toolbar, change theme. Okay, so yeah, you can also have functions on it as well. Toggle theme, context.consumer. So these are all getting passed as props. Here's the render props right there, and then theme context.consumer, so theme toggler button. And where's content being set? Oh, content, right? And then what does content have in it? Content is wrapped in this consumer. So maybe that's what we need to do. We need to actually create a users component. So I can just create one right here. I can say const users. This will be handed props, right? And then inside of here, I can render users. And then here I can do return div and the users component, something like this. And this will actually, let's see, we want the consumer here. So this will actually take in consumer. So we'll say consumer, and then we'll wrap this in here. I am the consumer, and we'll log out the props that it's being handed. And this should be the props from the provider. So let's make sure that this is correct. Consumer is not defined. Oh, sorry, consumer. And let's make sure this is good to go. What is it saying now? Render is not a function. Does it need to be a function theme toggler dot consumer? Oh, sorry, yeah. So this needs to actually be a function. So we can see we have the consumer, but this actually needs to be a function like this. Gives us render props and set div. I am the users component. So I kind of like this actually. I like the idea of render props. It's pretty cool. Alright, so that works, and it looks like it's not getting past any props right now. And why is that? Let's take a look at this. Theme, context provider. Are we logging out the props though there? Oh no, we're not. So this should be props. Let's log props from provider. Props, and this should show us the props that we need. Props from provider is red. Okay, cool. So the value is grabbing it from the state, but what if we want stagger state is passed to the provider, content, provider value is theme, value is signed in user. So you can have multiple accessing context, buttons, theme. Okay, so now let's see. How do we update this real quick? Okay, let's look. Make sure the shape of the default value passed to createContext matches the shape that the consumers expect. Themes.dark. Themes.dark. Let's make sure. This dot toggle theme. This dot state dot theme. Okay, so this, yeah, that makes sense. So probably just want to change this to users, right? So like that, and then here we'll have a state of users, right? Something like that, and change this to users. Now this will be passed users, and now I should be able to extract users out of here. Users, and then let me make sure this is correct here. Is that not right? Let me see. Theme. Oh yes, state.theme. Function theme toggler button. Theme toggler button. Let's see. Theme toggler button. How is this being pressed? Oh, it's being passed the state like that. Okay. So we need to actually pass it this dot state. So that's like the initial state right there. Cool. So props from provider is basically just a users array, right? If we change this to back to props, or say, let me get rid of this. Just to quit confusing everyone. So yeah, cool. We have users on here. So now we should be able to just pluck off users. And cool. So now it's just that. And then how do we update? So let's look at this. Start toggle theme. And let's see. Updating context from message component. Let's see. So we got our context provider, create context, and on click users, and then we'll just like hard code something. But anyways, what I want to do here is you can have multiple providers. That's pretty crazy. So theme user, and then how do we update this? Let me see. Let me read it up again. Value, render something based on the context value. Providers can be nested, requires a function which receives the current context value and returns a React node. Value will be equal to the value prop of the closest provider. No provider. Themes.dark. Okay. Okay, sticking themes. That's fine. Theme button. Okay, so this is this dot toggle theme. What is this dot toggle theme? This dot toggle theme is provided inside of the app. Okay, updating context. Ensure the shape of the default value passed to create context matches the shape of what the consumers expect. Okay, so theme, toggle theme. Okay, so then let's do this. We can put that function on there. So toggle theme, background color. So that's calling that. Tip also contains the updater function, so we pass down into the context provider. So this just needs to match. It seems kind of duplicative in a way. The toggle theme is a function which then calls this dot set state. It's a little weird. Theme toggler button. And theme toggler button is, where's content coming from? I keep forgetting. Oh, it's just running theme toggler button. Theme toggler button is a consumer, which is in the state being passed. So now let me add this. We'll just add one called update, or we'll say add user, right? This is a function which just is going to, what will it do? Let's see. I don't really think it needs to do anything. Yeah, time of theme. And then we just need to define something in here. We can have a method called, addUser, right? And this can, make sure, got the constructor super, oh, we can put it in there too. We can put it in the constructor because it can be a class method. This dot add user, right? And this will be a function which just sets the state of users, and we can say this dot state dot users dot concat name Theo and age is 24, something like that, right? Sets this dot add user, and now it's being passed state, and then let's see, user theme context. Here's theme context value. Cool. So now, let me see. So now this user's context should have this, and add user, and we'll just say a button on click. We'll give it add user. Add a user, right? Something like that. And here we can do users.map user. Here we can give it a user, and then we can just spread the props, right? User, something like that, and then user can just take the prop, and then it can return props.name and props.age for now, right? So that makes sense, I think. And what does it say? Oh, you need to wrap it. So let me go back. I'm just gonna grab fragment, and then I will wrap this in fragment. I think actually the context will get mad about this. I don't think it likes you to put it all in here. Okay, cool. So add user, did that do it? Add user did not do it. Why not? Let me see. Oh yeah, this dot state. This dot state toggle theme. Oh, I need to add it onto state. Okay, so it's this dot state. Are they defining the state after them? Oh, they are, yeah. Constructor. Okay, so let me change this below, and let's add it again. This dot state is users, and add user is this dot add user. Cool. All right, that should work. There we go. And then we need to give it a key. And let me change this to be key is user dot, what would the key be? We'll just give that index right here. So you wrap this and index. There we go. Get rid of that error right there. Right, and now let's look at what we have here. Context provider value users is 4, and then context providers users context consumer, and then let's see if we can look at this a little bit more. Consumer, so the consumer is just being passed the value, and then let's see. Application state, theme context, consumer theme button. So this is always past the state of the provider. That makes sense. createContext. It's passed a value deep into the country without explicitly. The current theme with light as the default. This provider value is dark. theme, deepest theme, yeah. So it looks like if you, I'm kind of curious, if you export this from this file and then you import it into here, can you still get application state from app.js? And then I'm kind of curious if you log out app state, is this what it means? Sort of. Let me see. Wonder. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. So it is in there. Current value users, but it's not actually. Let me see. Current value consumer provider context. Guess I'm kind of confused. Why do you need? Couldn't you do this still without users? Let me see. So that's not going to work, but I guess what I'm kind of curious is, like, if you just, can't you still do this all without, just getting rid of that for a second? Can you still do this all with, clean this up a little bit. Can you do this all just with this? I guess maybe I'm failing to see a more complex example. Add users is never defined. Where is it saying? In 43, 44. One click, add user, sorry. Users, add user, is this dot state? I guess I'm trying to really understand the point of this. Cannot read property users of undefined. What is it erring on now? Cannot read property users of undefined. What? Const users, the function which returns the fragment. What does it complain about? I don't get it. Users undefined. Oh, I see. So, okay, sorry, I'm pretty stupid. Okay, so now that's where the handiness comes in. So we're getting access to this initial state. That's why. Sorry, guys, I'm like really slow today. Cool. So we're able to get these values because it's handed through render props, which is state. But I guess what I'm kind of curious of is, can you do it with an empty object there? So why do you need to fill this up? I guess I'm kind of curious. So let's look at, I want to look at what application state is in here then. Is it because you need to have this match? So it doesn't look like it does change much. Let me see. So that's why, right? So these need to match. I think I understand now. Okay. So see, I hadn't really messed around with this that much. So now users is an array. So this needs to match. Hold on, let me see. Users is an array. And then application state. That's kind of weird. Did I miss something? Or I might be logging it at the wrong time. Context provider. Context provider. Add user as a function. Type users, store props, type users, value, add user. So why do these need to match up though? I guess still a little confused. I don't think I fully understand it, to be honest. Make sure the shape of the default value passed to create consumer matches. It's often necessary to update the context from a component that is necessary deeply. In this case, you could package a function down through context to allow consumers to update the context. So theme context creates a consumer. It then passes down the theme toggler button, right? And this matches that shape. That matches the shape we saw above. Provider. The entire state is passed to the provider. Content is the theme toggler, which is the consumer, which is passed rendered props. Keep recontext rendering fast. React needs to make each context consumer a separate node. Provider, value, theme, sign in user. Layout. Component can consume multiple contexts. Extend values from instead of adding context every lifecycle, we'll just need to pass it as a prop and then work with it. Component did update, pre-props, previous state. And let me see. So if we actually go into here, I'm kind of curious. See, yeah, I don't know. It seems a little much, to be honest. Let me change this to class users extends component. And let me get rid of some of that. And let me put this in here, component did mount, or component did update. Let me log out this. Let me log out, console log, pre-props. Try this one more time. Let's see. Unexpected token 50. And, oh, sorry. We need to wrap this in a render function. Cool. And then bring this over a little bit. Cool. It's a little weird. Am I missing something? Users. Put it in user. I don't know what like I'm missing. Component, and we'll say class user extends component. Get rid of that. I guess I need to explore it a little bit more. I feel kind of stupid, to be honest, going through it. Wrap that in a render. The computer's breathing like super loudly right now. All right, and user. Let's do that, and then username pre-props. That's kind of weird. Theme. Previous theme context value is pre-props theme. New theme context value is this dot props dot theme. Context value is this dot props dot theme. Last button. Consumer. So whatever the consumer is, which in our case, the consumer is users, right? Say this dot props. Button props. Consumer. I guess we pass it down to what should we pass it on to? Users? No, wait. Theme context consumer. Yeah, consumer. And so whatever the consumer is wrapping. Consumer. Let me just try and create a user real quick, and then so pass it out to this dot props. James and age is 50, something like that, whatever. I'm kind of curious to see if there's any difference here. Oh, sorry. User James, age 50. So let me see one more time real quick. Props. I guess it's just this dot state. So if I don't define this here, does this still receive? See, that's what I don't really think so. Make sure that's what I'm kind of missing here. Index consumer, provider value, users, theme, toggle theme. Let me see. Props, and then we'll just change that real quick. Props users. Huh. That should be the default. The theme button inside the theme provider uses the theme from state, while the one outside uses the default dark theme. Theme button. So this isn't going to be inside a provider. Let's see how we can do that. Let me see. So if we try and do this with triggers, so maybe this is the difference real quick. So what's the difference here? Let me see. Users and users. Users is inside this one, is inside context consumer. Context consumer. Stop dark, and then the button inside the theme provider uses the theme from state. This dot toggle theme. Yeah, okay. It's just the theme from state. Oh yes. It's the one outside uses the default dark theme button. Theme button dot props. So what are the props here then? There's a lot of props. Let's see. Theme button. Context. Import theme context. Theme context consumer. Theme dark. Theme button. Unless I'm missing something. No, that should work. I don't know. Because I think they are. Unless I'm like completely off here. Wait, okay, wait a second. This is being passed. Add user. Is it calling it though? Let me see. It is calling it. Let me see. Themes.dark. Provider. Layout content. Um, theme context. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to explore a little bit more. So, yeah, I was just messing around with it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have a better experience with it. I want to get more into it. I'd like to actually convert some of our app at work to use this. But hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.